Hey, so welcome back to the Military Transition Academy podcast. You've got me, your co-host, Eric Doc Wright, founder of Vets to PM and the Veteran Project Manager Mentor Alliance, 501c3, best-selling author and military veteran. And with me, as always, my sidekick or his sidekick, I'm his sidekick, or however you want to slice and dice it. I also have another military veteran with me. Who's with me today?
Hey, it's Jeremy coming out of Vets to PM, running operations there. Air Force vet, did 21 years. Really loved the service side of it. Couldn't get enough of it. Got an opportunity to sit on Doc's bench for a little bit and then come to work. So really happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, right on. Great story, man. So Chief shows up in uniform down there in San Antonio. Goes through the training class. So he's not just a hair club for men founder, but user as well. So anyway, goes through the class, gets out, does about 7 months knocking around, and finally talked him into coming back and coming on with us. And it's been nothing but almost like clacking up a roller coaster, brother.
Yeah.
Right? The growth and stuff. So
for sure. Ready to hit the down. Ready to hit the downslide.
Yeah. So anyway, for those of you who don't know, this is the Military Transition Academy, brought to you by Vets to PM. Vets to PM was certified by the Florida Department of Education through its independent, what is it, Jeremy? And certified independent education body or something, commission?
CIE, right? I mean, that's
right.
Continuing and institute in education.
So not only is, are we authorized training providers of the ICPM and the PMI and the HRCI and all that other stuff, but we're also one of the only training shops I know of, Jeremy, that's actually certified by a state. So if any of our students ever had a problem with quality, mission delivery, any of that stuff, man, they can go straight to the state about it, the secretary of that commission. I mean, so, I'm not, that is what it means. Other training shops are or aren't. To me, it's, we pursued it. It took us 1.5 years to get it. But to me, Jeremy, it's just one more sign of high quality, right? I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's taking something to the next level for a quality hurdle, right? Yep. So somebody's verified, vetted us from an outside third party, what you might call in the service quality assurance, or an inspection, right, or ORI, right? So
standards of compliance, yeah.
That's right. So, I mean, we kind of did it. We did it on the civilian side because, one, we felt like it was important to have a stamp of approval from the state we operate in.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just another, check block that we take the mission seriously, right? What's the mission at Vets to PM? I mean, it's our personal mission. It's my personal mission. We help military veterans achieve meaningful, lucrative post-service careers. I mean, that's it. That's all we do. Everything we do in this company is geared to that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad you brought that up. And it actually makes me want to ask you a question. Was that like super intentional? Did you mean to leave it opening? Like, what's meaningful to me? What's meaningful to you? What's lucrative to me? What's lucrative to you? I mean, talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, you bet, JB. And it is intentional. I mean, we engineer it that way on purpose. And you're a perfect example. Retired chief is a lot different than a guy who did, 8 years, close to 8 years, and got out, right? So what does meaningful mean to you in terms of how big does my paycheck need to be? What kind of work do I do? Does anybody miss me? HR, project management, general management. I mean, when you're the person responsible for the care and feeding of other folks, so to speak, that's a big deal. Your work has sense of purpose, mission, identity, but that's a different podcast episode, right? But yeah, so it is literally that mission statement is engineered so that when the veteran listener hears it, meaningful can mean what it needs to mean to Jeremy, to Eric, to Garrick, to Janie, to Johnny, right? To Jackie. And same thing with lucrative, right? You know what your own value is. You know what you think you deserve in terms of pay, benefits, etc. So, we get it all the time. Kathy McLatt, our director of career services, will tell you she gets it all the time. People are like, well, wait, what salary should I ask going in? Speaking of which, when I want you to tell your story, JB, about salary and negotiations and stuff, right? I think it just would really ice the cake, but you don't know any of that stuff going in. You've got a number. If they pay you below that number, you're offended. If they pay you above that number, you feel like you're getting over on them, right? Yeah. We're vets. Most of us have integrity and honor, and so we just want a fair day's pay commensurate with what we think is the experience, knowledge, skills, and abilities, or what I like to say, you add all those things together and it's the person's capability, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's ambiguous on purpose.
Yeah. So
custom to the listener.
The ambiguity of it all is built into it for a purpose, right? So you get to define it to some point of where you fit in. And I love that because, for example, meaningful for me was I had to give back to my brothers and sisters in some form or fashion. I had to do service. I was so used to serving. I think I've been serving since, I was knee-high to a grasshopper, grew up in the South. It was always, can I open the door for you, ma'am? Yes, sir. No, sir. So that was pre-military, Jeremy. And then service in the military, every time I got a stripe, I didn't look at it like, oh, I'm in charge of more people. It was more, I have to serve more people, right? I have to figure out a subset to where I can continue to serve one to many. And then when you get out, you're like, okay, what job am I going to still have contact with 2,600 folks where I'm leading this big ship? And it's just, maybe it exists, maybe it doesn't. But for me, it turned into serving the 240,000 that transition every year. That's meaningful. Like I'm giving them a foothold or a diving board to jump into the civilian pool, or like Doc says, the Civ Div.
That's right. And JB, for you listeners, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, because there's another episode on that fully too, where Jeremy and I unpack that about, well, what does meaningful really mean? And it's got three components. It's got a sense of purpose. It's got a sense of mission. It's got a sense of identity, because you had all those things in service. And the minute you take the uniform off, it vaporizes.
Right.
And I could tell you from personal experience, long, dark transition, man, if you don't find that stuff on the other side of the fence, right, of the transition bang, man, you're never going to be happy in a job, and you're going to wander from job to job to job. And you and I know vets like that all the time, man. You meet them, they got 12 months here, 18 months there, 26 months there, 12 months there. And they're 5 gigs in. They've been out for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and they can't figure out why they think the place is such a shit show. Right. It's like, hey, man, because you haven't defined what you need to find. Right. So, it's like, you've heard the old cliche, right? If you don't know where you're going, anywhere's a good place to land, right?
Yeah.
So, you gotta figure that out. So anyway, yeah, we made it ambiguous on purpose, but here's the cool, I think the magic and the magic trick is, but if you hear yourself in there, bro, everybody can hear themselves in it and say, hey, they're talking to me. They're right. Here to serve me. Speaking of serving others. If you think, hey, I am a veteran. Hey, I would dig a meaningful, lucrative career. Hey, I should probably look into this vets2pm.com thing and figure out if they can help me find a meaningful, lucrative. You know what I mean? So it's like, it catches a very select customer demographic, or a marketplace, if you will, right? Are you in transition? And I don't just mean transition, dude. Civilians transition all the time too. Going from one job to another. I've been a professor. I've been a resource manager. I've been an accountant. I've been a project manager. Like I've been 9 different, I'm now an author. A company executive. I've been 9 different things at a minimum since I got out. Right. They're all a remake. So it's just reimagining that new thing. Is it meaningful? Am I going to get a sense of purpose, mission, identity out of it? Am I going to get a nice paycheck out of it? And the trick is, I think for us at Vets2PM is we've built the basic economic transaction at the customer level.
Yeah.
We give you the value first. You get all the super good stuff first. And then when it's reciprocal, nobody cares if you get a good deal too, as long as they got their good deal first, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. You're touching on the lucrative side. If you're stroking the part that you feel like you're getting fairly compensated, lucrative can mean a whole different thing to different people. When I was in service, money wasn't really what I was after. It was time off. Like, so you could motivate me with a 3-day pass, hey, brother, go get a 80 on your PT test and I'll give you a 3-day pass. Go get a 90. I'll give you a 4-day pass. Like I'm going to kill myself to get that 90, I wanted one more day with the kids, so that's just the way that we mentally work. lucrative doesn't always equate to dollar signs and a paycheck, but there still has to be enough there to keep up your family living. So you get to define that in some sense when you're rolling through the job desert, if you will, and picking and choosing. For example, I'm at home, retired, thinking this is gonna be nice. And in some ways it was, but I was busy doing projects, busy doing, little stuff around the house. And I realized that, man, those projects, they take resources, they take manpower. Before you know it, I'm chewing through what I would have called my comfort money, and needed to get back to work, go to a job interview, think that I've got this on lockdown, and step right on a landmine for when we start talking salary, right? So
what'd you ask him, Jeremy?
Well, yeah, I tried to have
them talking to him for 19 minutes flat, right? What'd you say?
Like we're on interview 3. I've got this in the bag, and I basically asked them, hey, how come you pay less than this other job opportunity in comparison? And boom, I knew it. Like I could see the jaws drop. Like it was like, whoa, he just stepped on a landmine. I no longer was part of the crew. The interview was basically over. We continued talking, but there was no more interviewing. Like they weren't seeing if I was a fit. They already knew I wasn't a fit. So that was a 6-figure job at a big bank that I thought I really wanted. Turns out it was a really good thing, because now I have that experience to go tell somebody, hey, take the interview skills course, because you haven't probably interviewed in 20 plus years.
That's right.
Not a corporate interview anyway.
Yeah. All right, man. So great topic for the episode. There's lots of other great episodes, gang, where Jeremy and I talk about, okay, what are the benefits of meaningful and purposeful and lucrative, right? Where we actually talk about, there's psychological benefits, there's neurological benefits, there's social benefits, there's all kinds of benefits. And that's all we do for a living, gang. We're nationally approved by the VA. We're nationally approved by the National Veteran Business Development Council. We're certified by the state of Florida. And their Department of Education. So, we're a training shop. And what do? We help military veterans achieve meaningful, lucrative post-service careers. That's all we do. So you want to check us out. You want to, unpack some more of this stuff with us. Jeremy and I walk you through this. Check out the website, vetstopm.com, and subscribe to this podcast so you can get our episodes. We try and keep them 15 minutes or so you can, they're real digestible. You can consume several at once over your lunch hour if you want, or in the gym or whatever. So JB, thanks again, man, for joining me. It's always great to catch up with you. And I'll see you in another episode, dude.
All right. Cheers, brother.
All right, man. Thanks, JB.